And when you've got scenery like that to look out on when you're eating your lunch, how can you possibly complain?
I don't know,
Or could you,
I might be able
Steve?
to think of something
Yeah.
if I was pushed.
This definitely seems like a place with money, doesn't it, Steve?
You can kind of tell just by the clothes people are wearing, and also by the shade of the lipstick the women wear.
Always a giveaway sign.
And that's no matter which country you're in.
Morning, Chick.
Morning.
He's doing his warm-up. The athlete's ready.
Getting myself ready to be able to go and do it.
He's prepping. Yeah, that's more than I do, to be fair. I should do that.
Well, it's warming up, but it also kind of helps my head get into the idea that I'm going to do it as well.
Yeah. Whereas sometimes I just get straight out of bed, launch into a run, and then my legs just turn to jelly because I've not walked, and then suddenly I'm trying to run, which is ridiculous.
The only thing I launch into when I wake up is a cup of tea.
That's the best thing to launch into.
Or back to sleep.
Yeah, all that. Anyway, morning viewers.
Aye.
So I've just had my run. While Stephen goes for his, I'm going to have some breakfast. If anyone's wondering what disgusting concoction I'm having today, it's this, which actually looks quite pretty in the sunlight, doesn't it? But it's not really. So it's porridge oats mixed with some lentils, a tin of sardines, some kidney beans, some jarred spinach, and then we've got some rocket in there as well. I think that looks quite nice, and I think it's pretty tasty, but probably not to everybody's taste in the morning. So we've moved on quite considerably since we last saw you. We are no longer in Galicia. We've moved on. We've found some sunshine, which is fantastic because it hasn't been so great for the last week or so. And we've decided, although we wanted to explore that area more, we were going to completely run out of time. So we have headed the idea is to head south, but we haven't quite got there yet. So we've kind of moved back inland a bit. It means we've got to skip out Portugal, sadly, but we're going to go somewhere in Spain and take a route that we've never been before, and to be honest, I don't think many people actually do, so that's going to be interesting. He's back. How did it go?
I will tell you, I got my personal best.
Well done.
And I did it in 29 minutes and 19 seconds.
Oh wow, well done.
A minute and 5 seconds.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Well done, Steve.
Sub 30.
That was your aim, wasn't it, to get sub 30?
Yeah, that's right. Well, now I just want to be able to do that without looking like this afterwards.
I think that's pretty amazing you've got there, to be honest. Oh, well done. That's excellent.
Let me in any water.
The stats speak for themselves, and you're getting quicker and quicker. And this is from someone who never ran at all.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, my catch to 5k, I did over a year.
Yeah.
You know, I did a year.
But there's no rush, is there? That's the thing.
The runs, they're not that hard. Like, that's not to say that the couch to 5k is that hard, because they're not really, if you haven't got some serious health difficulties. But I don't know, sometimes you just can't be arsed, so you just have to keep going back and picking up where you started and allow yourself as much time as you need. But yeah, it takes time.
Well, we've come just down the road somewhere in the country. Somewhere. Anyway, we are in a town called Ciudad, Rodrigo, and this is quite a historic town or city, I'm not sure which it is, with some very old buildings. Everything's changed landscape wise, hasn't it, since we left wherever we were. It's got warmer, everything looks quite a lot drier, like it looks entirely different to when we were in Galicia, which is what you'd expect, but we're still technically like the northern part of Spain, I would say, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
More or less, we're just coming into the central bit. So Ciudad, Rodrigo. So it's got a great history. There is another wall to walk around, some more walking, Steve. Going to walk around a wall, see some old rubble. This has gone through a lot, this town, and one of the things that lots of people have raided it in the past, but one of the biggest things was in the Spanish War of Independence, which was in the early 1800s, so just over 200 years ago. It was right at the centre of a lot of battles, and so many things were damaged. Nonetheless, it does have lots of historical architecture, and we're just going to wander around and hopefully go and look at a very pretty Spanish town. We know you love that, Steve. You know you're not going to be underwhelmed by it.
We'll stop rabbiting because it's late and we're going to lose light.
It is late. It's also a Sunday, so absolutely everything's shut, and it's about 3:30, so I don't know what we were thinking really, but whatever. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Just go and have a look.
Let's go and have a look. That's an unpleasant way to film, isn't it, with the sun blaring in our eyes? But how peaceful and lovely is this, Steve?
It's nice.
Like, coming on a Sunday, you might think, oh, that's not great because nothing's open, but there's nobody about. There's just a few people wandering. Already you can tell there's so many intricate buildings here. And we're getting to wander around in total peace and enjoying it. Apart from me waffling into the camera, of course, and saying, Stephen, can I have a picture? And then he barely walks 2 minutes and I drag him back to take another picture. I feel a bit bad because we don't know a great deal about this town and we don't even know where we're going, really, do we? But half the fun of wandering around these places is just exploring, isn't it? And going down these little alleyways. And it's so serene. And it's just so like, well, it's just so quintessentially Spanish, isn't it? Just all these yellow bricks and lovely windows. Little alleyways everywhere you go. Absolutely gorgeous. I know we say that a lot, but like, we choose to come to these places for a reason, don't we? So nice. I say this and we've just come to a busy square where those people are outside on tables, so it's ruined the illusion. Let's go, let's leave. So I'm not sure what this is about. I mean, I don't know my cars, but I'm assuming that's the Mercedes-Benz symbol. If not, please correct me, because I really don't know. But that seems to be sitting in this square, along with what looks like loads of Mercedes vehicles. Are they? I think. I probably sound really stupid if it's not right, but that seems weird. I have no idea what that's about. If anyone does know, do let us know in the comments, because that just seems utterly random for that to be there, and then all of these vehicles along with it in this kind of historic square. Are you in, Steve? We're walking, okay?
I'm in.
We're in. This definitely seems like a place with money, doesn't it, Steve? It feels like quite a well-off place. There's so many...
You can kind of tell just by the clothes people are wearing.
Yeah, and there seems to be some designer shops, doesn't there? Things like that, kind of closed up.
And also by the shade of the lipstick the women wear.
Always a giveaway sign.
And that's no matter which country you're in. They always pick that same shade of red.
Yes. But I imagine with all these pretty buildings, they don't come cheap to live in. And that Mercedes-Benz thing, Stephen did confirm that was the Mercedes sign, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's got to be the biggest giveaway, surely.
It doesn't feel like anybody really lives very much here.
I don't know, remember it's Sunday? So the restaurants are open and they seem quite busy. Obviously everything else is completely quiet. But yeah, definitely a place with a little bit of dosh. I just can't get over that Mercedes thing. Just in this old square, all this like, what was that about?
Yeah.
So a bit like Lugo, as we were saying earlier, I think, it's got, this town has a wall circling it. I don't know if it goes the whole way, but there's about 10 gates. Hold that thought while a car goes through this rather thin looking tunnel. Jesus. So there's about 10 gates and we're going to see if we can walk around the whole town, which might be nice while the sun's setting. Let's go. There's some pretty good views all around this wall. The lovely thing about countries like Spain is they're so big and open. There's so much like vast land that you can come to towns like this, and then it just sort of sits in the middle of nowhere and then just looks out on mass expanses of land. Like, we never get that back home in the UK. You just never see that, especially in England, because you don't have to go far before you see a road or another town. It's just not like it, is it? There's no kind of wilderness or even just open lands where people aren't living so much. But here you get a beautiful town like this, surrounded by what seems like nothing. Obviously there's some houses on the outskirts and just vast countryside, and that sun feels lovely, doesn't it? But these bitey things or whatever we're around do not, so let's move. And just as we were walking around, Stephen just spotted where we're parked actually. So you can just about see Daisy right by my finger there. So that's a free motorhome park up. It's not really an air because there's not really any services, but it is free. And of course it is seconds from the centre of the town, which is pretty amazing. So we're going to head back in a sec. But I mean, what's amazing when you walk around things like this and these towns that are so clearly probably quite a lovely place to live in, I imagine, a very comfortable sort of place to live, and then you remember what these walls, which we go around and admire because they look pretty, you remember what they're for, and it was to defend the town and the fact that they've seen less than 200 years ago some quite heavy action. You know, it really puts it into perspective that we admire these things now for what they look like, but actually they're there for a quite grim purpose really, because humans cannot stop attacking and invading each other. What's on the menu tonight, Steve?
Well, it's like a chicken stew, isn't it?
Yeah, we did something a little bit different tonight. We've got mashed potato, which is a rare treat. Is there anything more comforting than mashed potato? I don't think there is. The only thing that beats it is having it with gravy. But this chicken stew that I made in the saucepan with chicken and some carrots, leeks, onions and all that kind of stuff. Bit of chicken stock, water, and then we've got mashed potatoes. That's just still quite a nice, homely, comforting dish, isn't it?
Yeah, comfort food.
Nothing amazing. Didn't film me making it because it wasn't that interesting. Not that the other ones were either, but you know, we don't want to film every bit of cooking. Don't want to spoil you guys, you know. Before we clock off for the evening, we're quite tired now, aren't we? What did you think? It was a very brief visit, but that's all you need around this town. What did you think, Steve, of Ciudad Rodrigo? Somebody's going to rip me apart for my pronunciation of that, but I can't get it right. Are you whelmed?
Well, it was really peaceful. It was really peaceful there. Like, it was really, I mean, I know it's Sunday and everything, but it felt very serene and quiet within those walls. It was really quite nice.
It did. But were you impressed with the town, Steve? Did you like the buildings? Did you think it was pretty?
Building. It's nice architecture, obviously. It's quite old.
Or was it same old, seen it all before?
Well, it did look a bit like the one I said.
I don't think it looked like that.
It did.
Stephen's saying it looks like the one, I can't remember what video it was, Santilla, oh my God, that one.
That one.
He's saying it looks like that. I don't think it looks like that.
It does a bit.
Well, this is more. This is very yellowy buildings. I think that one was more. All right then. Well, you didn't hate it, so that's all right.
I didn't hate it. It is nice. It's worth a look, I think. Definitely worth a look. It was nice to see.
I would say definitely, if you're travelling down the middle of Spain, definitely give it a visit. There's this free park up that we're on, which is great. You can walk to it, and it was just really, really nice to walk around, and you've got some fantastic views when you go on the wall. I think it was gorgeous. So yeah, definitely have a look. Is it the best town we've ever seen? Well, it probably isn't, but like, it's still really, really nice. By the way, that Mercedes-Benz thing, we figured it out. I googled it, and apparently there's an event here, and it was to do with the new Mercedes-Benz. Oh, I don't know, I got bored reading it because I couldn't care less about cars, but there's some kind of an event to celebrate the new 45 years of something and then a new version. I don't know, okay, but something new with Mercedes-Benz. But you wouldn't just put that in any town, would you?
Just a car show.
No, I know, but they wouldn't put that in like Ramsgate, would they?
No, of the same car.
So presumably they're putting it in a town where people are like, oh, well, maybe I can buy one of those Mercedes-Benz. So what we were saying about this being a fairly wealthy place might be true, but we don't really know. Anyway, shall we clock off for the evening? We are going to move on tomorrow down the road and do something a little bit different. So
we say that every time, and that's what we do, the same thing.
We don't do the same thing. What do you mean we do the same thing? We're going on a walk, but it's a different walk. It's not like the other walks.
Oh, all right then.
I mean, I haven't actually looked it up yet. To be perfectly honest, I don't know what we're doing. No, I know where we're going, but I don't know what we're doing. All right, well, with that, we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. Morning, Steve. Morning. We're on the move again. Look at the straight roads. You always know when you're in such a vast country with so much countryside and wild lands in between towns, miles separating them, when you've got roads like this, and there are so many that are just a pure straight line. That is the sort of thing you never see in the UK, a road that just goes on and on in a line like this, because there's just not the room for it usually. So we are up in a little place called Alberca or La Alberca, and it's in a slightly kind of mountainous-ish region, but more kind of hilly. There seems to be forest everywhere. It's a very beautiful looking village. It's got timber framed buildings, but we're not going to see that to start with. We are going to go on a little walk just in the surrounding countryside, just to take it in and take in some fresh air. The sun's out, and then if there's time later, we're going to wander around the village. If not, we'll do that tomorrow morning, because we are parked on a very, very handy free air, which you know we love. Now let's go and find this trail. I don't actually know where we're going or what's on it, Steve. I just wanted to do something. I just wanted to walk somewhere, so kind of pick something at random. Oh, this looks like a good start. So we've had to walk through the village to get to the start of the walk. Oh my God, that feels like something special. I mean, are you going to be like telling me I'm just exaggerating or not?
Nice.
Oh, come on.
For goodness sake.
Well, let's see. I thought that was unbelievable. Stephen just thought it was another bloody village.
It's nice.
We'll let you be the judge of that tomorrow. But oh my God, just walking through that little town, well, it's more a village really. The temptation just to stop and start filming and doing stuff then rather than go on this walk was so strong. But I must resist. Just pretend to be like Stephen, like, yeah, it's just another village, and then I can resist with ease. It's nothing important. It's just like Swindon or something.
I'm just not getting excited about it.
I can't help it. I mean, we don't get to see these things. Like,
people.
I'm not exaggerating. Like, we go to these things, it's like something you've never seen before, and we're never probably going to see ever again. I can't help but be excited by it and feel appreciative of it.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I mean, there are times, like, you know, when, if even I'm saying, yeah, whatever, just don't bother really, because then it's like I'm not finding anything. I do tend to see lots of good things and attractive things in what I'm in, sights and sounds and senses. So this is the walk I found on All Trails, and I could not figure out which way round you went. Luckily, there's this very handy board just outside the village that's the exact same route, this one here, and it tells us which way to go. So that's great. Do you know what this is reminding me of, Steve?
No.
The Spanish New Forest. That kind of vibe, isn't it? Yeah. Woodlands that then give way to kind of open plains, sort of like heathland. It's not heathland because obviously it's a different type of terrain here in Spain, but it's just reminding me of the New Forest, if you ignore the mountains in the background. Other than that, very New Forest-like. Oh my God, Stephen has just found the biggest mushroom we've ever seen. Yeah, that looks exactly like a parasol mushroom, which means it's I think they're edible, actually. That, the camera does not show how big that is. That is absolutely huge. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up. Some idea of how big this mushroom is. It is absolutely massive. My entire hand covers it and it still doesn't reach the edges. That is insane. Right, I'm being bitten to death by something, so I'll make it quick, but you can see how absolutely huge that parasol mushroom is, if that's what it is. And just out of nowhere, in this sort of countryside walk through the woods, it's the path just cleared, and suddenly we've stumbled upon this really old chapel. It's just sort of sitting in the middle of nowhere, this amazing building. And there's this old well over there, just sitting between the trees. I feel like we're in Hansel and Gretel or something like that. About 2 people on this entire walk. It is so quiet, and when you've got scenery like that to look out on when you're eating your lunch, how can you possibly complain?
I don't know.
Or could you, Steve?
I think of something.
Yeah.
If I was pushed.
Well,
No,
I
it's
don't think
lovely.
it will take too much time.
I'm not going to know because it is really lovely.
It is, isn't it? And we've come at the right time as well, because it's autumn and we're seeing like all the trees turning orange and stuff like that. Good morning, lovely people. We are up once again. So before we move on today, we are going to go and look around the little village we're parked up in, and it's called La Alberca or La Alberca. When I've looked up Spanish people trying to say this, it sounds like they're saying it as one word, like La Alberca, but that might just because they're saying it really quickly. I don't know. So for the benefit of the video, we'll just call it La Alberca. I think we'll let you be the judge of this, but I think this is otherworldly. Anyone a fan of video games? Like, it reminds me of something in Final Fantasy or something, when you come across one of these small little villages where you go in the shop and I mean, some of you won't know what I'm talking about, but some of you might. It just reminds me of a fantasy town in a little role-playing game. I feel like I've bigged this up too much now, Steve. I feel like the pressure's on to film this to make it look like something amazing. Well, we'll let the town speak for itself. Stephen, like, there's just so many bloody lovely doors around here. I mean, look at that. Everywhere in this village is just a lovely wooden door.
You know, as miserable as I am, I really like wood carved doors and things like that.
So you do like something then?
Sometimes, maybe.
There we go.
Let's not get excited.
Remember that, viewers. Try to make this really brief because we're really struggling to film this because of the sunlight and everything, and there's quite a bit of noise going on. So this place has lots of old traditions, and one of them especially that they do every year is something to do with a pig, which I think this is what this signifies. So every year a pig is released into the village and is kind of allowed to roam around. I don't know for how long, but I think for a long time, and we've actually just seen it come running down an alleyway. It was a really cute, like, but quite massive thing, just minding its own business down the alleyway, going down another one. The pig is released into the village and the villagers look after it, they feed it, it can kind of do what it likes, until I think it's January, not 100% sure, where sadly the pig is, well, it's auctioned off, where I'm going to assume we can kind of guess what probably happens at that point. But maybe not, you know, maybe somebody who buys it keeps it as a pet, you know, I don't know, that's probably quite optimistic.
I mean, it's probably to be eaten.
It's probably to be eaten.
Let's say it as it is, but I think giving the animal the lovely life in the meantime is, you know, that's something at least. I mean, it's personally, I just keep it, but
well, I mean, who knows, maybe somebody would. The bells are bloody going now. Hold that thought. Cheers, Steve. As is quite evident, we've moved on.
Oh, that's really good.
what is it?
So we've got, I think it's like patatas bravas, is it? It's like a chili kind of sauce on it.
Yeah.
A little bit different. And a beer, obviously. So we've moved on, we came further down the road. We drove through some really amazing scenery, but really hairy roads, didn't we? It was like unbelievable. Over the mountain, Google did her thing again and took us off the main road into something quite scary. But the roads were pretty good, weren't they? The conditions.
Yeah, fun.
And the views were pretty amazing, and we got through all right. And Stephen did a grand job, so that was brilliant. So we've come to a place called Plasencia, I think. Plasencia. We parked up, getting a couple of beers. We've got a little bit of a snack here going on. I don't know what I'm saying. We'll see you back at the van. And with that, we are back at the van. Cheers, Stevie.
Aye.
Got our rum and soda water, which, by the way, is to save on calories. In case we've never explained that before, that's the entire purpose, isn't it?
I think we've said that a million times.
Have we?
Before. Yeah.
Maybe it's not been for a while, though. So we've arrived in Plasencia. I keep wanting to say Palencia because we've been to a place called Palencia before, and there's a couple of those in Spain. But if I think of placenta, then I'm reminded that it's Plasencia because it looks like placenta. Plasencia. We think that's how you say it. Oh my God, look, I know we didn't film anything, but we just had a really lovely evening out, didn't we?
Yeah, it was nice.
We went just in the town. It seemed really thriving. All the shops come open in Spain, as you know, like late in the evening. People about, all the shops open, and we went in a couple of different bars, 3 in fact, ordered a beer. Each one came with a tapas in all 3 different bars. And each one was like €5-6 each. Not like that's for both of us. I mean, so in total we probably spent about €18 on 3 different bars, and each one you got a bit of food. All right,
Take a million.
yeah, we've tried to do it. Oh my God, see, I can't even speak. We're not that drunk, honestly.
We didn't drink the rum.
No, after the beers in the pubs.
Yeah.
Pubs, the bars, the Spanish bars. It
Anyway,
sounds
get
classier.
on with it.
Right. So before we just go on Endosea, La Alberca, Stephen, what did you think?
I thought it was alright. I think I preferred it when it wasn't as busy.
Yeah.
Obviously, before the tourists got dropped off. And
Like
I
us.
don't know, it was a little bit expensive, and I get why, because it's quite an isolated place and it probably needs it. It was alright. I mean, I much preferred where we've been this evening than I did that.
Yeah, no, I do understand what you're saying. I thought it was a really pretty town. I like the fact that it was all timber frame buildings, and I like the fact the buildings were all a mishmash of different styles as well. So if something needed patching up, it looked like they just put anything on, even if it didn't fit the theme of the town and the building. So you ended up with all kinds of buildings that looked very mismatched. So I really enjoyed that part of it. It reminded me a little bit of the Shambles in York, but lots of different streets. The way it was kind of like very narrow and very tall, and everything's quite close together. So I enjoyed that part of it. And although it's quite a small place, it's you know, it's still nice to wander around the little alleyways and stuff like that. So there's a few little restaurants. As Stephen said, it was a little bit pricey in some of the places, but I did buy something from one of the local shops. So I bought some local honey because honey is quite a big thing in that region, isn't it? I think there's quite a lot of Spain's honey is made around there. So I thought it'd be nice to buy a jar because they were selling lots of it. So we've got that. Yeah, really nice. And the walk as well, you know, it was nice just to see something like a different side of Spain. So we had something with all the autumnal forests, all the yellow, orange and brown leaves all falling because it's autumn. It was really lovely, but with that kind of quintessential Spanish natural element. So they were kind of mountains, and they still had that dry ground element, crisp leaves, but it still had that kind of not desert-like feel, but that Spanish kind of where it was dry, lots of rocks and things, and Spanish vegetation mixed in with what looks like a forest from England in a way. So that was unusual.
Aye.
And that was a really nice part of it. So if you're ever in this region, La Alberca, I would definitely recommend visiting, especially because they've got a free air to stay in. So yes. I think we're going to sum it up.
We are, but what I would say is also come to Plasencia. Plasencia. Come to Plasencia.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of lovely bars with lots of free bits of food.
Yes. Did we already say all that? I think we did, didn't we?
I think we did.
I think we did.
I think I did.
I can't remember now.
I can't remember.
Yeah, Plasencia, which sounds like placenta. So we really enjoyed our time in the evening. We didn't film anything, but this is just a nice little town, like typical Spanish town. Oh my God, it was just so nice, and it was just great to go around to the bars and have some tapas with our food.
Alright, but with that, we need to end this video.
We do.
So we're going to say goodbye. Please push your like button. It's very important. Push your like button. Please subscribe if you like the channel. And push your notification bell if you want to be notified when we put another video out.
Yeah, thank you for watching. That's it really, isn't it?
Yeah, bye.
We don't know where we're going next, but thank you, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.